drops a clanger right at the start. And someone is in the house. Greetings, greetings. Saroth the Mage. Hey Robert, how's it going, baby? Just going to be a short one tonight, just to let you know I'm still alive. Yo, Brandon. How goes it, brother? Yes, I thought I'd better just, God, see, damn it. Prospero. Good to see you guys. Yeah, just going to be a short one tonight, chaps. I'm really struggling to get my act together magically at the moment. Hey, Oswald. Perfect timing? It's always time for Saroth. Ah, Tama Ningina. Welcome and peace. Greetings. That's pretty good. 5 people in already. Like I say, it's probably just going to be a short one tonight because it's already after midnight here. And I am preparing for my trip up to Inverness with Sora Stardust, our first holiday away. The first time we'll have spent more than a night. Well, you know what I mean. The first time we'll have spent 2 nights together in a row because we're both such busy people. So yeah, I haven't streamed for ages. I've been working so much again. I hate to keep talking about it, but it's a reality, and it's one that a magician must try to get around, this lack of time all the time, especially when you're trying to do a daily practice, which is quite time consuming. And like I say, I have just not been, when I came out the summer solstice, I was full steam ahead, go. The sun was shining. I had more time off work because the staff situation was different then, and I was flying. But now the Fintarn Foundation actually started nearer to sort of Elgin, but it's near. I mean, Scotland's small, so everywhere's near everywhere else, really. But we go to the Fintarn Foundation quite a lot. Like I say, it's a very strange place. They've got little hobbit houses, total ecological sort of village, but they're quite hostile to outsiders, I've noticed. A bit culty. Indeed, a mage must earn a living. I wish a mage could make a living by magic alone, but there are very few that could manage to do that. Hey Jasmine, how's it going? The Highlands, well, that's where I'm going. Inverness is like the capital of the Highlands. It's beautiful. They're different. It's like kind of like you see in films. Cold, hilly, heathery, very green. Yo, 7 serpents. The Fintarn Foundation, I can easily believe that because there's a lot of seems to be a lot of very rich Europeans hang out there. And they've got the, what is it called, the hall, and they get a lot of sort of alternative musicians and stuff. They're a very wealthy community. It was started by a woman, I forget her name now, who had a vision of the great god Pan in a public lavatory around about those parts. And she was told in this magical vision that she should start to farm the land, which was almost impossible because it was sand dunes at the time. But they did, and they turned it into this thriving community called Fintarn, the Fintarn Foundation. So it was started after a vision. I thought it was Lucifer, but it was Pan. Hello, Terracina Reader. Welcome. I don't think you've been in my chat before, have you? Dorothy McLean, was that her name, Oswald? Wow, you know this? Yeah, they've got a tiny little bookshop and a tiny little gift shop. But I often get strange vibes after I leave there, and that'll take me on to one of the points. You know, this is like a magical diary. So what I do is I report my my magical findings and the stuff that's been happening in practice. So it's not going to be like lectures and stuff. It's just always going to be like what I would write in a diary. So one of the things I've noticed is the side effects of magical practice. Good to see everyone. Nice to have you, Tarasina. She's one of the few English people in this little crowd. There's a few Scots people. There's lots of Americans. There's hardly any from south of the border. So it's to see you. Nine Neeland, he's from somewhere down south, Kent possibly. Yo, Mr. Seven Serpents. Wow, the house is absolutely packed. 9 people in. 9, the number of the moon. I invoked the moon tonight. It was a very beautiful. I actually added a little bit. I don't know if Theophilus, as he's now known, will be in tonight. But I used one of the Orphic hymns to Selene as part of my invocation of the moon tonight, and it was really quite nice. I've got a circle painted on the floor here. You probably can't see it, but this is my living room, my painting studio, my magic studio, my everything. Well, all Americans have got a little bit of Scottish in them, I think. Well, you know what I mean. America and Scotland. Well, Scotland has an affinity with everywhere, as do the English. Yeah, so magical practice. It's a funny old thing. Solar Stardust has been doing Kundalini yoga, and she described something that I used to get all the time. And this was another thing. I was also going to talk about resistance and how it can be really, really hard to push yourself to do daily practice when you're a very busy person and you don't get much sleep, etc. Like Friday and Saturday, I'm supposed to do an invocation of Saturn for this grade every Saturday, and I just slept the whole day. I just could not get up. I knew I could, if I'd pushed myself, I could have done it, but I'm just feeling energetically low just now, and that's why I haven't really been streaming. I just felt like, well, if you haven't got anything mind-blowing to say, why go on? But I feel like if I don't keep it going, it could just, because it does, this is part of the self-analysis thing of the grade I'm in. It's a Golden Dawn grade. It's called Theoricus. So first you do the neophyte, which is just getting to know the pentagram rituals and some basic meditations like the middle pillar. Yeah, well, you've got to question it, because I'm also very skeptical as well. So I'm not one to get carried away and delusional. And sometimes you just think, this, I'm spending all my time meditating and doing pentagram rituals and hexagram rituals, and where's the payoff? But of course it does. It just sometimes is a very, very slow process. You don't get immediate results, and things are never quite as you think they're going to turn out. It's got a weird way of manifesting in very strange ways as magic. So Solar Stardust was telling me that when she'd come out of Kundalini yoga, she was like really spaced out, and she went into a shop and everything was too bright. She had an argument with a woman, and I thought that is a classic sign of not grounding properly after spiritual practice. That used to happen to me and Lato especially, because the rituals, I think if you do a ritual with one other person, it doesn't just double the power, it sort of, I think there's a rule in Wicca about that somewhere. The energy return when there's 2 people, it's like, well, there's a third mind created, but there's more energy. Trying to do it solo all the time is difficult, as in so many other things. But you just have to crack on. So, yeah, grounding after, it's very important to do the meditative side of magic as well as the active, like going around the circle, drawing pentagrams and hexagrams, etc. Hey, expanding the process. Oh, a big hug for you, sir. How's it going, man? A fellow Scot. I like the meditation video, by the way, expanding. It was, I liked what you did there. Oh, and Max Vision, wow. I always get the most interesting group of, and just about everyone's a content creator, which is slightly strange. You know who I watched? I've been watching. That's all I do is I've totally unplugged the TV and just moved it out of the way now, because TV is the death of the imagination and the death of everything. Please destroy your television sets tonight. Hi, Max Vision. Welcome to my humble chat. So yeah, I've been really struggling to just do even the most basic stuff that in the summer I was tearing through. I was watching a video because I have to reflect on them sometimes, you know. This is a diary, so that's the kind of point. And it's weird to see how much has changed even since the start of the summer. Just everything, my whole attitude. You do, last stream I mentioned that there's like 3 stages, or some magicians say there are 3 stages to practice. That's like a new practice, or a new grade, or a new branch of study, or just anything really, a new hobby. You get the ISIS phase where everything's bright and new and you're thinking, oh, this is fantastic, this is the most amazing thing I've ever done. And then it slowly fades into the apophis stage where things start to get a little bit dull. You're not feeling the same energy return. Yeah, well, there you go, Seven Serpents. That's why you're so wise. I used to watch the odd TV program like Peaky Blinders or Vikings, or the adverts. I just cannot tolerate the frequency of adverts. And, you know, it really is. And even the news, I hate to say, but the news I get on social media and from people like C.W. Chanter or, you know, guys like that. I think a lot of our generation, and probably all the, I mean, who watches the BBC nowadays and they expect us to pay a license for it? Disgraceful. And also not having a TV buys you so much more time, because you do. I used to watch a lot of TV and you're pretty much in a trance. And time just flies by. Now I'm constantly, mind you, I think to a certain extent I may be over-studying and over-reading, because I've got so many, this kind of happened the last time, I get information overload. I'm reading a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and it's very spread about. Like recently I've read Lucifer Precepts by Peter Gray, which is kind of a, hey Logos, how's it going, man? Yeah, discipline and commitment, and that's, you know, that's what I've kind of had to do tonight. Even though it was late, I just had to have my shower and just get on with it. It only takes 45 minutes to an hour. So, and simplify, yeah. That I think I couldn't really get it down to much less. Although I have been experimenting more with doing it astrally, or just basically running through, visualizing myself doing it in my, hey, I walk. Wow, man. I was just thinking about you today, and I thought it's been ages since I've seen you, and I was gonna, isn't that amazing? We live in the same city, me and Iwok. If you go back to Temple of Thosis Presents, you'll see Iwok do a blistering set on his guitar. That seems like years ago now, Alex. Oh, and VC. Hello, dear VC. Got 12 people in chat now. It's unbelievable. Yeah, well, there you go. And I felt your vibration and I thought I need to stream tonight because Alex needs me. Say hi. It's a lovely chat. I get very friendly, lovely people. So, yeah, like I've been feeling blocked and perhaps reading too much. Like I say, I've been spreading my interest very widely. Logos, you talk about single focus, and that's something I'm not achieving at the moment. my interests are spread out all over the place. I'm not reading the books that are recommended for my grade work. Like I say, I'm reading Peter Gray, which is like a historical search for Lucifer. Magic Revival I read again recently. I've been reading the Chicken Kabbalah by Dr. Lon Milo Duquette for some strange reason. I just remember it having some interesting stuff about the four worlds theory of the Kabbalah. You've got Asaya, Yetzirah, Bria, and Azaluth. And obviously I'm working with Yetzirah at the moment. My big Magickal diary hasn't seen much action lately. It's almost too big to use as a daily diary, this one. I think this one's better for charts and diagrams. I've trimmed my... This is the one that went on fire. I just love it. I've had it for years. And I'll start doing another one. You can see how messy and I just did that freehand, so the spacing's all wrong. But, I mean, it works. All I needed was really just a little reminder. There's a lot of study involved. Thank you. Thank you. So yes, I actually did a tarot reading today to try and divine what the block was. And at first I thought, it's very positive cards for something that, you know, because usually with these cards, this, my old Thoth Aleister Crowley deck, I always tend to get the worst readings. I was going to do a stream on, is it Sunday night? And I thought I'll just pick two cards. One, should I go tonight? And one, should I go tomorrow night? And the first one was, I think, futility. And the second one was failure or something like that. It was all swords. And there's some nasty swords in that deck. So what I do now is, instead of sticking to you know, like, oh, this is me, this is my influences, this is my past, this is my future, I actually write out the questions before I turn over the cards, so you can be more specific. So today was 1, what's the block? 2, what's the cause of the block? 3, good influence. I'm not even really sure what I meant by good influence. Just, you know, like a current or even a person or just something that could help me out of this block. 4 card was best course of action. 5th card was worst, you know, the worst thing I could do. And 6 was conclusion. So these are the ones I got. So for the cause of block, now maybe you can help me work this one out. Ace of Wands, which is, I always think of as a very good card. It's the prime male creative force. Wands are fire, so it's that extremely powerful, you know, obviously very phallic with Aleister Crowley as well. And I think there's 10 emanations coming off that, so this is like the first drop of energy, really. So male energy, I'm thinking like sexual energy, perhaps. That's the block. So this is the block, and this is the cause of the block. And again, it's a wand. There's actually 3 wands in this spread. It's the Knight, the Knight of Wands. And he's like force, fiery, determined. It's like, I just don't know. So it's feeling like I'm too masculine energy. I'm like maybe attacking it when I need to be approaching some other, or using some other approach. But the 3rd one, good influence, was dominion, which is wands again, but there's 2 of them, and they're in balance this time. And this is like being in control. Again, there's the 10 emanations. You've got 4 points there, and then there's 6 points behind. So that's like controlling the fire force. Dominion means fire under control. Best course was perfect card for the fiery lingam is the watery yoni. So that's like the divine feminine, the receptive force. So that tells me that instead of being like trying to force it and being all masculine and I should be more like receptive and let the astral light or whatever it is we're trying to pull in here. I haven't quite decided what it even is. You know, so this says to me, meditate more. And then, damn it, where have we put the other cards? Oh, I always do this. Ah, here they go. Forgetful, did you say? Oh, that's another thing about this grade. I'm crazy forgetful. Maybe it's just old age. So this, weirdly enough, is the worst cause or influence, and that is abundance. And I was looking at the card earlier on, and that looks like grapes to me. And you know what? I was so, after work today, I was so stressed out, I almost thought about reaching for a cold beer or a glass of wine, which would have probably meant that I didn't get my rituals done again. So I fought it. So comfort would seem to be a block as well. You know, that's the worst thing I could do is slip back into, I guess. Oh, is Nish in the house? Wow. 18 people in chat. Bloody hell. Athena's son. Hello. From Scotland. Athena's son, you're Scottish too? Fantastic. It's really nice to have new people. I've got VC, Athena's son, Tarasina Reader. Oh, Darcy's in now as well. Wow. You all crept in while I was talking. So yeah, abundance is the enemy. Comfort. Don't get too comfortable in magic. It's bad. And then finally, if I pay attention to all that stuff, I end up with a sun. And these two are I've decided, are the masculine and feminine, fused and happy. And of course, that's Resh up there. Liber Resh is a good practice. It's where you adore the sun 4 times a day. Once at dawn, once at noon, once at sunset, and once at midnight. And you invoke the sun in its different forms. I can't quite remember. I know Kefra's midnight. I haven't done it for a while. Ra is, I think, noon. Tum is setting. And who's the morning again? Hail unto thee who art in thy rising. That's a good one. So yeah, that's about it. Struggling with the rituals, but getting them done. Nice invocation of the moon tonight, and I used. I don't think you got that bit, Logos, but I used your not in my invocation of the moon tonight. I actually came across quite an interesting WordPress blog. I was thinking of doing a kind of, see, I have these ideas now, I always go off them. I thought I might do like a review of Lucifer Princeps. And he'd mentioned at the end, there's apparently a Praxis book. I'd really like that. And he mentioned Lucifuge, and that Lucifuge, I'd heard of him before. I think E.A. Coetting, he's in the Grand Grimoire anyway. So I just happened to go into this guy's WordPress blog. I also have a WordPress blog. I think it's actually on my channel. Well, I meant to look at a poem for later as well, but never mind. I could always look one up on the tablet. So this guy, his channel's called, his blog is called Between the Pillars, I think it is. And it was really fascinating. He was talking about, yeah, you do, Logos, you could definitely do with a WordPress. It's very handy, and you can share them straight on Twitter or whatever your preferred social media is. So his blog was really interesting. He lives in, I think he lives in India. But he does a lot of grimoire magic, like invoking. Yeah, he does invoke demons, or whatever you want to call them. But the way he describes it, and the way everybody describes it, they don't exactly seem like evil demons from hell to me. Because why would they be friendly to people? Because it's like a two-way bargain kind of thing. I don't know. It's very interesting. I'll have a look in the chat. I am in Aberdeen, Athena's son. Expanding the process. He's a Scotsman as well. Yeah, I know. I should give up smoking, shouldn't I? Hey, Lisa F. How's it going, baby? I just got MeWe. Yeah, Facebook. I just don't bother with that anymore. I really don't. I do have the THOTH group page that I kind of post in occasionally, but YouTube's just better. So like I say, it's going to be a short one tonight. There's a few projects in the pipeline, but I'm not even going to think about making any more plans to do any more. You know, that I don't want to name things before they happen because it can sometimes kind of curse them. Mew and Minds, what are they? I'm only getting used to Twitter. Are they new Facebooky kind of sites, are they? New? Yeah, they do sound scary. I mean, all the magicians that encounter them don't. Well, some of them are scary, but I would summon the really scary ones. I'd summon the friendly ones, because maybe there's a whole. I think there is actually a whole other dimensional entities. You know, by the millions, probably as many entities and spirits as there are human beings. I mean, I have encountered, I don't know, when I was doing the magic before we'd even got the Kabbalah magic book, when it was really just pretty much making it up as we went along. We actually thought we were in touch with God forms and stuff, but then, like I say, I kind of woke up and thought, no, this can't be happening, and I explained it all away. But then with mushrooms, I eventually got to meet some what can only be described as entities. There was a huge female snake, which people joke about this King Plachaka, but isn't that supposed to be a huge snake? It sounds like male if it's King Plachaka, but I met this absolutely archetypal, huge, like female snake of some kind in a sort of vision when I was on a lot of mushrooms. And there was also a mantid, and there was also these lion beings with kind of spacesuits on. It sounds kind of weird. That's why I don't talk about it much, but it's all in the blog. I've sworn never to tell a lie about anything like that. You just can't lie when you're in magic. So, spirits and entities are real. I used to think it was all absolutely psychological, and they were projections or parts, or you know, even fragmented parts that are separated by trauma and stuff, but they're still in you. And I also thought that, well, I still think this, that we are fractals of the universe, really, or whatever God is or was, so that we do have a divine spark, and it's magic is learning how to release that spark. Hey, Charles. Well, we're getting everybody in tonight. I wish I had, I always say this, I wish I had more material, but just, you know, you can't talk about pentagram rituals and hexagram rituals forever. And there's so many other channels doing it a lot better than me, you know. So I just like coming on here and yapping. I was thinking a bit about the Fool card, carried on from, because I was thinking I do want this channel to change and be a little bit more informative, and you know, instead of just me chatting to chat all the time, actually have, okay, this one was kind of supposed to be about the problems with daily practice and resistance to practice and some of the side effects, like in this grade, because it's tied to your ego and intellect, and it does say it'll space you out a little bit. I think in this, the IAO is a classical magical formula. It's also a Greek name, ancient Greek name for God. That formula says that you will, in any practice, there'll be a bit in the middle where everyone's sad. You feel, oh, I'm not doing it right, I'm not feeling it. And I am in that a little bit just now. It's not magic, it's wax and, well, a little bit of magic, I have to admit, Oswald. You need magic just to stay alive at my age, Oswald. I'm actually 589. As you can probably tell by my teeth, one of which recently had to be removed. I am going to have a full set of beautiful shining teeth by the end of the millennium. Yeah, well, yeah, it's those entities, isn't it? Seven serpents. It's all very comforting when you think it's all just parts of you, but when you think, wow, I'm actually, these are actually independent beings with possibly a lot more power than I have. Yes, you're an old soul. I think there's a few old. Oh, hello, Modwiz, long time no see. How are you, man? I was just discussing resistance to practice and how difficult it can be to keep daily practice going day in, day out when you're working pretty much. Well, I do 24-hour shifts, you see. I have to go in at 9:30 one morning and I don't get away till 9 o'clock the next morning. So all I can do then is the astral rituals. I just can't physically do them at work. It wouldn't be safe. I couldn't have demons running about in that place. Yeah, so the Fool, it's a big thing in certain forms of magic and indeed art. The Dionysian thing about wine and strange drugs, and you know, the artists and poets throughout the years, the Dionysian poets as opposed to the Apollonian people. If you use Nietzsche's dialectic there, the Apollonian and the Dionysian. The Dionysian is like the right brain, the creative, the feminine, the artistic, the drunken, the wild, and the I can't say it. The other one is stern, sensible, logic, very interesting dialectic. So yes, wine and strange drugs and all that, and how do you enter gnosis? You know, for a lot of, hey, Scottish Steve, wow, there's bloody millions of people in. 19 and I've got 11 likes already. Incredible. High culture and low culture, yes. Well, you know, I was high for most of my life, and now I get low. You know, in many ways you could say magic is my new drug, which a lot of people would strongly object to magic being called a narcotic. It's not. It's a. What is magic? How do you define it? I certainly can't, and that's one of the things that's driving me nuts at the moment. Is like my brain's scattering in all these different directions, and I'm following all these lines of inquiry. It's like the more I learn, the less I know. It's the classic, that's the one, Dionysian and Apollonian. Apollonian. I was thinking, well, what a huge influence Nietzsche had on Thelema, and probably there wouldn't have been a Thelema if it hadn't been for Nietzsche. I think Crowley admits that himself. And I did toy with doing like a show on Crowleymas, which I think was I can't remember what day it was now. But I don't know, I've always had an uneasy relationship with Crowley. I admire some of his work and some of his methods, but in other ways, you know, I just don't dig him so much. A lot of people, you know, they've made a religion out of him, which I think is just a silly thing to do. I do admire a lot of work, Thelemites that have come after him. Knowing everything and knowing nothing, yeah. That's what keeps me coming back for all these years, more and more, to keep learning. Oh, that is it. It's you know, you could never know all there is to know about even one system or one path, and magic is so syncretic. You know, it grabs all the stuff from all the different cultures it comes across, which is one of its beauties. Before I go, because I am going to wrap up quite soon, because it's 10 to 1 in the morning, I've got to be at work to reach the 10 degree. Oh yes, indeed. We all know. In fact, I don't think there was a 10 degree, was there? There was the 9th, which is the one that you speak of, sir. The 8th, which was manual. And the 11th, oh, I can't remember. But it's, yeah, a lot of sex magic and Thelema. In fact, you sometimes wonder if anything works without the sex magic component. So what was I saying there before? Oh yeah, I'll recommend a podcast to you if you don't know. I mean, Nish, you'll know for sure, and Robert, and me as well. I've just got into him. It's the Modern Hermeticist. What a fascinating channel. Wow, he's got like I think it's called Big History or something. I think it's 47 chapters. I must have listened to at least 20 of them over the weekend. They're just beautiful. The narcissism and Americanism, or the narcissism of Americanism ruined Crowley. That's a very interesting thing to say, Oswald. You think America ruined Crowley? I'm not sure. I think Crowley ruined Crowley. I mean, he's undoubtedly a massive influence on magic, but lately his influence is waning, I think, a bit. But there's also the thing of cycles, you know. He's kind of been the apex of the pyramid for so long that I think people are looking to beyond Victorian magic, way back to, well, grimoires, the Picatrix, which, funnily enough, the guy Dan Ansel, I want to say Ansel, if I've got it wrong, I apologize, but yeah, he's brilliant, and he's just, I think he's just done a translation of the Picatrix. I've actually looked through the Picatrix, and it seems like a lot of these grimoires are difficult for me because the language is very antiquated and it seems a little bit silly. You know, there's you do your procedures, whatever, and just bizarre things that you think could never ever happen, and you think, I'm handling my own moderation here. We're allowed to say anal sex. That's fine. We're allowed to say anything in here. Unga bunga. Oh yeah, bunga bunga. The Italian president used to call it, I believe. I mean, they're probably all at eyes wide shut parties, banging away on the 9th, 10th, 11th, and many other degrees. Now, who brought up the sex magic? Dan Atrell, yeah, brilliant. Don't waste your time watching Saroth the Mage. Go and listen to some of him and learn something. He always creep me out. I presume that's Alistair Crowley, the Great Beast 666, when we've already proved last week's stream that Saroth the Mage is actually the Beast 666, because Saroth adds to 666, because I accidentally stole my name from a sun demon, but changed the vowels round to how they should be, because A should always come before O, and that's a grammatical law that was recently discovered, which is interesting, considering the IAO formula I always go on about. Crowley intentionally poked the bear and user poetic, cryptic, ambiguity. Yeah, he did. He made his writing so impossibly cryptic and flowery. There's a lot of very, very flowery language, which is difficult to read and to penetrate. Penetrate, there I go again. And I was reading an essay. You know, I did well, you probably don't know, but I did a stream. I used to try and think of all these clever puns, but I've run out of puns now. Puns were so last month. It was called A Staroth in the North, and it was a pun on, well, a play on A Star in the West, which was a typical Crowley. He awarded Fuller the first prize for an essay about himself. And when I tried to read this Star in the West, it was just incredibly so flowery and silly. It was kind of irritating. Yeah, well, where we're going in Inverness, Foyers is actually where Boleskine is, and it's just a few miles from Inverness. So we're actually thinking about walking out there, and maybe it burned down. I think it had a major fire like a couple of years ago. So yeah, old Alistair and his, but yeah, there is definitely a new strain in magic that's, oh, he absolutely did work for the intelligence services. Yeah, that's pretty much been proved now. But, you know, to give him some credit as an artist, I mean, I never liked his poetry myself. It, again, is very kind of old-fashioned to me. But his paintings are very modern, and, you know, he was a kind of genius. And if he did work for the intelligence services, he kept that quiet in his confessions. I mean, the confessions are one of the longest, and I have to say, in parts, the most boring book I've ever read, and I did go right through it when I was in my early 20s, I think. And that's a very thick book, and he takes everything he did and breaks it. I mean, how he even remembered it. That's interesting. Tinker, Tailor, Soldier, Spy, Crowley connection. You know, it's all very murky, isn't it? Ian Fleming and all them as well, and Dennis Wheatley, I believe, who used to write about Satanism. So there isn't, you know, it all goes back to Dr. John Dee, doesn't it? He was the original magician, occultist, spy, because it's very easy for, you know, they seem to be able. There's a lot of secret societies and stuff where they can. Very fascinating, but we'll have to wait for another day. And I was also thinking about this Astral Temple thing. Oh, I've got an interest in my Astral Temple at the moment. Seems to form itself, and it's weird. I wouldn't pick this, but when I consciously project into my Astral Temple, it's like it's taken on the interior of a spaceship. Because I've made a new one lately, and so it's like this. It's like I'm looking out to space, and sort of silver, sort of convex walls. So normally you'd think you'd have to create it, but that seems to be ready-made. And I saw myself, strangely again, I think it's because I've been reading a lot about Greeks and Romans and listening to the modern hermeticist, but I got a sudden flash of what must have been me doing a magic ritual as I was doing a ritual here, but I was dressed in like a weird fur sort of tunic thing, Roman type sandals, and a mask that was like a fox or a wolf that was like real fur, and I was holding a chain as well. So it was almost like a dream image that just popped up in meditation, and that doesn't happen so much nowadays. It used to happen a lot in Asaya when I was doing the Zealoter grade, but I have heard that because you're doing the Tree of Life on Earth, on this Earth plane, it's more intense than Yetzirah. Yetzirah is more subtle because it's air. But the next grade is water, which is Practicus, and it's emotions rather than intellect and mind, and so that'll be interesting. If you think I'm a wreck now, wait till you see me halfway through the Practicus grade. That's what magic does. I keep saying it, but the lightning struck tower is the best metaphor personally for magic. It's the practice and it's constant sort of revealing, and then you go on another. You do go down some rabbit holes and dead ends, but generally it's just a revealing and an opening. Are you talking to me? I've been practicing magic for, I don't know, about 5 or 6 years. But I read a lot about it before I really started to practice, and I've only really seriously been practicing like every day. I stopped for 2 years, so oh god, it's complicated. So I went for about 18 months practicing like now every day, stopped for 2 years when I got a job, and then got back to it after the summer solstice, after a mind-blowing psilocybin trip, which told me to get back to magic. That was like a meeting with my, I've been thinking a lot about this holy guardian angel thing as well. I actually did, that's the remains of it, a sigil. Shouldn't have told you what, lost the result. No, never mind. But I did a sigil tonight. And it was powerful. And it was weird, the bit of paper that I'd done it on, even though I put salt water in the bowl, because this is to represent the element water. So there's salt water in there. And I dropped the paper in and it burned right to the very last, magic. And I had done the invocation of the moon. But in the Golden Dawn outer order, it's not a specific spirit or anything you're invoking, it is just the moon. Because I don't think they actually want any spirits coming through when you're in the outer order, because you wouldn't know how to handle them. Or they think we wouldn't be able to handle them. Right, it's been absolute pleasure having everybody in. I will go soon. Most of what I read of Crowley starts off brilliant, then goes, yeah, it does. He gets carried away in these long strings of associations and correspondences that only he knows, and some of his scholarship has been deeply called into question. Saros dreams, oh god, no, I'm not ready for Nox Mente yet. I keep delaying getting guests on the show because I don't even feel I'm ready for their audience. I like keeping it very small. If you could stop people subscribing it, but there's also, if you're going to have a channel, you do want it to kind of be successful and you want it to be as good as you can, but I don't want to have to compromise all the place. Well, it's lovely. I mean, I really, the people that I get in chat are why I keep doing this thing. It's not for me. I hate it. No, I don't. I love it. The people that come in the chat and all get to, it's the esoteric branch of a larger community, isn't it? So have a good night. Oh, thank you very much. Prospero sent me a book. I don't mind people sending me books. Send me all the books you like. I'll never ask for your money, but you can send me books. And also, this Astral Temple idea that we had was, I've also been talking about with another friend, is to try, just as an experiment, a bit of a laugh, to all astrally project on an agreed upon date, and then we get a symbol and we concentrate on the symbol. We also visualize the same kind of space, and we're going to just, in our imaginations, if you can't astrally project, just do it in imagination, and somebody can set a symbol, and then we can all try and retrieve the symbol and then compare notes and do practical. What's that, Darcy? Saroth Noxmente is getting to know your neighbor. Best ones ever. Yeah, I listened to Jenny Moonstone. I've never heard of Jenny Moonstone, but I love Nish and Jerry. They're brilliant hosts, and it's an excellent program. So I will be, but I hardly ever get it live. It's me working it, and most of the time I'm in chats. I'm at work, so if I feel like I don't engage with people as much as I used to. But now that I'm a YouTube superstar, it's difficult, man. I've got interviews most of the day. Right, guys, that is, oh, gosh, we're almost on the hour again. Thank you very much. Gosh, so many people. 18 people still here. That is a record, I think. Okay, so thank you, Jasmine, Prospero, Nish. I always hit that bit when I call out Nish's name. That's got to be a compliment. Jasmine, Oswald, who else was here? Robert Elder. Modwiz was in the house. Lisa, thank you guys so much. It is cool hanging out. I noticed my own music stopped. Yeah, it's good. I really enjoy having yous. Thank you, Tamu Bikina. Priestess Heart. I always want to say Princess Heart. Peace, Robert. Yeah, I love you guys. So I'll see you after my trip to Inverness. That's where all the Thelemites pray to. So I might just stand there and suck up all the energy. Right. Night, people. Beautiful one. I enjoyed that. Thanks. Right, I'll speak to you all soon. Thank you very much. Bye. Sorry if I haven't said goodbye to anyone. Oh, Mrs. Seven Serpents. I walk. Charles. Oh, I've forgotten everybody expanding the process. Am I still here? Darcy. Thank you, Nish. Oh, is Modwiz on? Oh, I might go. Oh, I might nip in there for a minute. Okay, right. Cheers, guys. See you later. Okay, ciao, ciao.